Hello and welcome to Hank Games Without Hank. My name is John Green. I'm the manager of the Swindon Swoodilypoopers, who just lost heartbreakingly yesterday to Arsenal. I'm going to be honest with you. In the clubhouse afterwards, there was a lot of anger. Ginger Rampage was angry at himself for his rush of blood that led to his tackle from behind. He's suspended for today's game. Hayden Pennyfeather's our referee. There was a lot of anger at the ref because it was a really bad call in the 90th minute on a totally clean tackle by, I think, one size fits all. Um, that led to, we had a great comeback. We switched to the 4-3-3. We had a great comeback. It was just a great, one size fits all was devastated. The guy's had a tough season, and I don't want to talk out of school or anything, and I certainly don't like humiliating my players, but the guy's in tears. Like this team means everything to him, and it's just when you get a bad call like that, it's just hard not to really take it to heart. And I just try to remind the guys that, it's a long season, and some calls are going to go our way, and some calls aren't. And hope you just got to hope that it evens out over the course of the season. Maybe we're going to get a penalty at a vital moment that's going to allow us to finish in the top four. We don't know how the rest of the season's going to go. So we just got to have faith that it's going to work out. But there's no question that it was pretty devastating to the club. And I Ginger Rampage feels really bad. He wanted me to apologize to you guys. You know, he's always look. This is his nature that he has. That he has these anger issues, and he's not. You know, it's a lot of what makes him a great player. But certainly, it also can be really problematic for our team, and he knows that, and so he's going to work on it. That's all I can say. So I apologize, but please know that we're you know no I know that the performance of the club matters a lot to the supporters, but you got to believe me that it also matters a lot to me and to the players. So I'm sorry. And we're going to try to win this game against QPR. We should win it, and we're going to try our best to. We really need 3 points. We need to get back on the right track. Today I'm going to talk about character development, which I've kind of been doing for the last 15 minutes, talking about how you develop characters and how you make people who aren't real seem real and feel real to you and to others. In some ways, it's easier to make people feel real to yourself when you're constructing them than it is to make other people feel like they're real. And because most of us, at least, have been in the business of making up people as long as we've had conscious. As long as we've had consciousness. I know I have anyway. It's got to be, and it is, Ball John Green bringing back the team. He's the heart and the guts of our team. He may not be the best player, but he is the heart that beats inside of our club. You can hear it right now, that thump, 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 thump. That is Ball John Green's heart. Look at that great finish. And he is saying, we will forget yesterday's game. We will forget the tragedy that was a game in which we went down to 10 men, came back from 2-0 down, and then got a bull crap penalty in the 90th minute to lose. We will forget that, and we will play with heart and courage, and we will play Swoodilypooper football. And I just admire him. So the question is, how do I get you to care about Ball John Green even though he's not a real person? Or some people would say he's not a real person. I would say he is. D. McGoldrick! Oh! He almost found the perfect bed. All right. Oh, that's a good line. I'm going to use that in the future for when he almost scores. So the business of getting people to care about characters, it begins with getting you to care about a character. But please remember that is the smaller. Oh, D. McGoldrick, that is the smaller of the two jobs. The bigger of the two jobs is getting someone else to care about that character, right? Because we've all had imaginary friends or conversations with people who maybe are real people but aren't actually aware of that we're having a conversation with them or whatever. We're always engaging in that imaginative play from very early on in our lives. D. McGoldrick, D. McGoldrick, D. McGoldrick. Oh, almost. The ball just disappeared worrisomely, but it's back. So we're always doing that, and so we're ready to sort of believe in our own characters in a way that it's harder to believe in other people's characters. So yes, it is important to make sure that you believe in your characters. And I want you to be, whenever you're constructing characters, you have to believe in their reality, and you have to hear their voice in a way that's real and distinct. And like a lot of people ask me, like, what was it like writing from the perspective of a girl in *The Fault in Our Stars*? And I always say this, but it's true. I didn't feel like I was writing from the perspective of a girl. I felt like I was writing from the perspective of Hazel, and I never thought about, I never thought about like, oh, this is a girl. I thought, oh, this is Hazel. This is this character I think about and care about, and that's very different from sort of merely thinking about the abstract idea of a girl. So when it comes to when I'm thinking about characters, I like to think about what matters to this person, what do they want, and how am I going to go about explaining what they want. And one of the things that I would say is that it's really common in like when people are telling you like how to like people are learning you how to write characters or create characters for television or whatever it is, that they need a motivation and that it needs to be a clear motivation. I think that's true, but I also think that you have to acknowledge the reality of human experience, which is that motivations aren't actually clear usually. Motivation is extremely complicated. And it's the best kind of characters for me are the characters who reflect that. Like if you look like what does Holden Caulfield want? Well, what Holden Caulfield wants turns out to be really interesting and complicated, right? Because it's not, oh, it's got to be. No, it isn't. What Holden Caulfield actually wants is, he wants an adult. He wants, well, really any person, an adult, a teenager, anyone, to acknowledge him and to acknowledge the sort of the seriousness of the situation in which he finds himself. The seriousness, the reality, the importance of his pain, even though, like all of his problems are very much like, rich New York prep school kid problems, that they are still real and that they are important. That's what he wants. Like that's what he wants to. That's what he needs. He needs, and then secondarily he needs someone to tell him that, like, or to listen to him as he's saying, I'm scared. I'm scared about becoming an adult. I'm scared about what happens to the ducks in the pond when the winter comes, and 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 uh and he never gets that, and the whole novel is a search for that. But the reason he wants that is complicated, and it's not just one thing, and the places, and he looks for it in many different places, and is disappointed in very different ways by very different kinds of people and by kinds of interactions. So sometimes he's disappointed sexually, and other times he's disappointed religiously in the case of his conversation with the nun. And there are all kinds of ways in which Holden is all kinds of barriers, I guess, to him getting what he wants. And then the final saddest barrier is that he goes to the person he's always trusted, and the guy sort of arguably ambiguously abuses him essentially, for his innocence, for his and that's scary and hurtful to Holden. And that so all of that factors into his character. But when you're thinking about him as a character, you can't just be thinking, oh, he wants this simple thing, and here are all the ways that he's not going to get it. You have to think of him as you would any other person, as you would imagine, with the complexity that. Oh boy, that was a hell of a goal. Oh, it's frustrating. There was just nothing I could do about that. It just burst from the sky like a supernova. It's very frustrating. It's a very frustrating thing to see. That's annoying, and I'm annoyed, and now I'm in a bad mood, and I don't like I like to be happy. I want to be celebrating with my team, not angry with my team. Oh, Schmergerberg. Perry's coming into the game. He's a platypus. Sometimes he helps out. 1-1 is not an acceptable scoreline for this game because we've had like 11 shots on goal. So it's frustrating. We need other John Green to come in and do what he so often has done in the past, which is bring life to this club, and goals. Here's his big first chance. It's at far post. Everything was right about it except for the finish. Oh, wow. That's devastating. Um, so when I'm thinking about characters, I mean, like if you look at a character like Hazel Grace Lancaster, obviously, Hazel has a pretty obvious problem, which is that she's dying of cancer, and she's been dying, but she's also been dying of cancer for a long time. So I wanted her to be in this weird in between space of she's dying, but she's also not dying with the sort of immediacy with which we usually associate dying. Um, and but that isn't actually her problem. Her problem is that she can't figure out um, kind of what the point of life is and how best or most heroically to live it. Well, that, in my opinion, at least, is a really interesting problem. And so once she had the interesting problem, um, her that sort of shaped her responses to her disease and to her peers and to everything else. That's what people talk about. Like she's. I wanted her to be sarcastic and funny, but the reason I wanted her to be sarcastic and funny is that it seemed consistent with the particular problem that she had of not having a good way to look into the world and find much hope in it, and certainly not being able to find much hope in social interactions. And that was what that's her character essentially. There's no, there's I guess there's a little bit more to it, but that's most of what it is. And and that that's the starting place for her character. It's also in a lot of important ways, the finishing place. Oh, you just stone cold, Steve with the C. Austin. Put the freaking ball. Oh, okay. All right. We got a chance here. It's a good looking corner. Everything was right except for the finish. Oh my gosh, is it going to be another 1-1 draw? Is this the new standard Swoodilypooper score? Disappointed in my club. I don't know why you guys are congratulating each other. I'm not happy for you. You're going to get in that locker room and you're going to get a talking to and possibly a spanking. Verbal spanking. Best wishes. Yeah, you should. No, yeah. I want you guys to talk it out. Yes. Okay, that's better to see. A little bit of frustration at least, because we need to be winning these games. All right, now best wishes.